Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the showdown between the Tomb Kings, who shall be led by Ark in the Black, and my apologies guys, he's not going to be on the evil cackling chariot today, and he's going to be facing off against the Lizardmen, who shall be helmed by Jabba the Hutt, and it looks like he is going to be on Zlok, so we don't see Jabba too often, especially with the release of Tehenwin. I mean, I think people are just experimenting with the new stuff, obviously it's a lot of fun, but I still think Jabba's really good. He does have Apotheosis and a really good kit of magic. He has Ruination of Cities, which can do some pretty good damage against like infantry blobs, which the Tomb Kings often have, so quite excited to see Jabba the Hutt in action. So as far as my army goes, in the back line here, I should say the front initially, we're going to be using 3 Ushabti Grapos. So we have 2 of these bad boys, and one of them is going to be the Arwar, the Chosen of the Gods. These guys do pretty good against big dinos. They have great armor pierce and great range, and they're pretty fast with 54 speed, so they can run away from most threats. But really, when you play against the Lizardmen, you have to expect some big monsters, so having some heavy AP, whether it be the Sphinxes, the Necrosphinxes, Tomb Princes, or Ushabti Grapos, or a combination of, any of those, is going to be pretty efficient. So we do have 3 of these bad boys here, going to be unloading. At first, I think we go after Zlok, but for literally like 80% of this game, I thought it was that Tehenwin, so I was like, okay, we're going to burn him down. He has no healing, but nonetheless, Mazdamundi is going to be healing, and we'll see how that goes for sure. 2 Nehekar Horsemen here in the front. In case you had annoying skinks or red-crested skinks or even skink cohorts or Saurus, these guys are, okay at charging in. They have 38 weapon strength. They can do some okay damage. We're going to be trying that out, just getting some harass. And sometimes you see a lot of chameleon skinks, and I always like to have, shielded mobile cav units to take them out. So we'll see how these bad boys do. In worst case scenario, I can use them to tie up the big dinos like the feral carnosaurs and things like that to allow my Ushabti Grapos to fire a little bit longer. My opponent is going to be reacting with the Supreme Shield of the Old Ones from Lord Croak right here in the back. So the Croak Daddy's coming in. He has a lot of magic for sure. Looks like Apotheosis. No, actually, it's just Apotheosis here and the bound spell. So Lord Mazdamundi just coming in with the heals, and it looks like Croak is going to be doing most of the magic. So, I mean, regardless, Mazdamundi on top of Zlok is a very powerful duelist, so it's going to be pretty scary. So Nehekar Horsemen, 2 groups of chariots, because when I play Tomb Kings, I know it might not be optimal against dinosaurs, but even if they have like Temple Guard or Skinks or anything like that, chariots can be pretty good against those. But I just love using skeleton chariots. They're so much fun. I feel like it's very thematic, so we're going to be trying these bad boys here. And it'll certainly do a lot of damage against skink cohorts here in the front line. They're not going to be having a good time. Over here, we do also have 2 groups of the Carrion. Carrion, just if they have a flying unit, for example, like the Colossadon Hunters, 2 groups of Carrion can actually do a ton of damage. The Colossadon Hunters are very heavily reliant on their bonus versus large. Well, I mean, not that much, but nonetheless, they're still very squishy in terms of their melee stats. Then they have 45 armor and 31 melee defense, so Carrion swarming in can actually do a lot of damage against Colossadon Hunters and Ripperdactyls. We've got a couple spears and just chaff in the front line, and I wanted to get a little bit hog wild and get the Casket of Souls, just in case we went with like a Temple Guard build that's like, it might not be bad. And it does also have the Covenant of Power, I believe is what it's called. So let's go and take a look here. Covenant of Power does actually give you a great increase to your power reserve. So we're going to be trying that out and seeing how it goes. So for my opponent's force, it's very elite. Definitely not what I was expecting. He's got skink cohorts in the front line. He does have 2 croc scores in the back, 2 feral carnosaurs, as well as Zlok. So yeah, he's got a lot of anti-large here for sure against big constructs and things like that. So I'm really going to have to be running with my Ushabtis, dragging him into spears and being very careful. Otherwise, these T-Rexes are just going to be going balls deep. On top of that, Mazdamundi, Lord Croak, as we saw, coming in here, just rolling in the deep, and he's got croc scores to smash in the back. And in the distance, he does have the Colossadon Hunters who are going to be coming in and potentially doing some work. So let's get this show on the road. So initially, we're going to be getting a huge charge into the front line. Nehekar Horsemen going to be punting some of these skinks, which actually does a ton of damage. And they don't have a big charge bonus, but look at the work we did on these skinks. One of them is pretty much broken off. The other one's at about 60%. So that's certainly some pretty good value. And also, we do have some shots coming in from the Casket of Souls in the back. And in the meantime, Ark in the Black is going to be dropping some summons to kind of block up the croc scores and some of these other troops. Now, there's going to be a bit of an issue here. We don't have too much mass, and I realize this right now. It's like, normally I bring like Tomb Princes, or at least like 1 anti-large kind of a monstrosity, or I guess construct, I should say, against the dinosaurs, but here I don't really have that, so I'm having to fall back. These feral carnosaurs are causing some problems, but I will be turning to shoot them here. These 2 Ushabti Grapos are going to be turning like point blank, just shooting into this guy. Ark in the Black will temporarily block them up, allowing me some time. We are getting some okay damage. Now in the back, you can see the Skeleton Chariots and company are going to be coming in, and I most certainly should have been using the Nehekar Horsemen right here to kind of pin these guys down, because again, there's not too many good targets. I mean, skink cohorts and things like that are going to melt super quick anyways. We have a lot of tools for dealing with them. Even our Skeleton Infantry could be quite good. And it looks like Croak Daddy's going to be dropping some bombs, so Big Papa Croak and Skeletons are pretty slow, or it actually looks like Mazdamundi. It's going to be a banishment, which nonetheless gets a really good cast and goes right through my troops here. So very, very good cast there. And Croak's been pretty quiet. He's been kind of chilling, maybe looking for some blobs right here. This would certainly be a very good one. But at this point, we have to fall back with the Ushabti Grapos. So Chosen of the Gods running this way. The other one are going to be running this way. And yeah, we're just going to be peeling off this direction with the 3rd group. Now, up in the sky, this is something that's really, really good. You can see the Colossadon Hunters. We're fighting 2 groups of Carrion. Now, Carrion, I believe, are a little bit faster, 100 speed compared to 90. So we were able to really stick on those guys, do a ton of damage. However, they are going to be swooping down and chewing up my Ushabti Grapos. So a bit of a scary situation there. But nonetheless, these Carrion really paying their dues against Colossadon Hunters. On the other side, Zlok is going to be just going into these guys. And you can see the Chosen of the Gods losing models, taking damage. And the Casket of Souls is pretty much useless right now. It's not really doing a whole lot. I wanted to try it out here, but it just doesn't seem to be able to get great shots. I mean, what it is shooting is mostly skinks and things like that, and it doesn't seem to do a lot against Crocsgores. Obviously, it's more of like an anti-infantry weapon. So, nonetheless, we do break off all the infantry, and we get a massive charge. So I come in with the Nedakar Horseman against Croak Daddy, but, he gets a huge bomb here, and I was not... I just wasn't cognizant of it and just nukes my Nedakar. That's what happened. This is the first time I've watched the replay back. I was like, what the hell happened to my Nedakar Horseman? But I could have sworn he used it up there. So I was like, oh, it's, it's safe. It's not going to be a big deal. But man, that was badass. Very well played to my opponent. Beautiful stuff right there. So he gets in there, just goes balls deep and destroys my Nedakar Horseman. I was wondering what happened. Like, this is the first time I've literally watched it back, so I was like, God, it must have been some treachery, with a Croak or something. So he gets in there, does some great work, and I have spears and skeleton warriors and other troops like that fighting the Carnosaurs, but against Croak, and I've learned this by playing vampire counts and things like this, you can't really bring like blobs of infantry. He annihilates undead infantry. It is so brutal, so if you blob up at all against like their monsters or stack spears on top of feral Carnosaurs, Croak's going to be able to just drop up bows on you all day, and it looks like in the back there's going to be another bombardment, and they're far too slow to get away. So at this point, I'm just like, oh man, I'm just going to take the punishment here. So here it comes. Massive destructive spell right there. You can see pretty much all my infantry just getting one-shotted. So now we're down to the bare bones here, guys. We have gotten some pretty good damage. Lord Mazdamundi's very beat up, so if we can kill Mazdamundi, kill the Clausedon Hunters, maybe get some good kiting with the Ushapti Grepos, we can certainly claw our way back into this game. We do also use the Ushapti right here as a summon to kind of pin down Mazdamundi, who is shaken. He's very, very low as well. Arcing the Black, doesn't do the most AP damage, but nonetheless, we do have Spirit Leeches, and we have a little bit of extra magic coming in from the Casket of Souls, but the T-Rex is coming in, the other one, and all my infantry, all my Nedakar Horsemen just got pounded by Croak, just pound town. So, over here in the distance, the Feral Carnosaurs are going to be chasing the Chosen of the Gods, so just trying to get away, using Carrion to kind of tie him up. Now, we do have a couple good grabs. We were able to kill Clausedon Hunters with 2 groups of Carrion, which is very, very cost-effective, and it looks like, is that going to be a banishment? Maybe he's just trying to use his last spell before he goes quietly into the good night. He is going to be using Cold Blood to keep his Lord alive, so pretty good usage right there. My opponent definitely very on point this game. In the distance, I do have some Skeleton Spears who are trying to keep up with the Crocsgores, but that was a mistake, so I'm just going to be pulling them back. And over here, we have the Ushapti, just on the long marathon across the desert here. They do have 54 speed against E46, and Crocsgores do have 46, so I have a little bit of a speed advantage. Just trying to buy some time, get some separation so I can start shooting at this Feral Carnosaur and maybe free up these other Ushapti, but it looks like it's going to be a recreation of Jurassic Park, the shaking water and all, as this T-Rex is just going to be hunting these guys. Casket of Souls trying its best, but not going to be terribly useful against anything aside from like Temple Guard and Saurus. Against Temple Guard and Saurus builds, it would probably be pretty good, but here it's not going to be super useful. So in the meantime, we do get a Spirit Leech here on Lord Mazdamundi, and you can see that Arcing the Black is going to be circling, just biding his time. I have a ton of Winds of Magic from the Casket, so I'm like, okay, maybe with very disciplined Spirit Leeches, let's get our spears back, let's get the chariots riding into infantry. Maybe we can do some work and kind of start to kill some of these single entities here. So Arcing the Black, I believe I was going to go try and intercept this Feral Carnosaur for just a second to allow these 4 Ushapti to get away, because I really need firepower, so it is a bit of a sacrifice, but I need to bait them in. I do get him to rampage, which is quite nice. So at this point, I can kind of run away, try and drag him into the spears, and get the Chosen of the Gods kind of shooting at some of the big targets again. So you can see in a moment they will be turning about. And the Casket of Souls, it's not DJ Kotep, but he's certainly trying his best here, and he's going to be just getting pounded by Zlok here. So Zlok is pretty low, 1600. Lord Croak's in pretty much perfect health, and I'm sure he has plenty of Winds of Magic left. I mean, he's cast a couple of Apotheosis, maybe 2 nukes, but between these two, he's going to have some pretty good Winds of Magic. So I do go in with Arcing the Black right here. I charge in, get a Spirit Leech. I need to break Mazdamundi, because from there, Arcing the Black is going to be free to go after other targets. But Croak actually hits pretty hard. If you look at Croak Daddy, he does have 450 weapon strength for a Slan. That's pretty powerful. I mean, most Slans on foot, I think, are like 280 or 330 or something like that. So anyways, Feral Carnosaur is going to be piling in over here. I do have some Skeleton Spears, so I didn't feel completely naked, but nonetheless, I got to run. This T-Rex is pissed. He does have Cold Blood and the Supreme Shield of the Old One, so he has 44% ward save here, which was just going to be brutal. I mean, barely any damage is going to be coming through. In the distance, my other Ushapti do get caught, so the Crocsgores and the other troops finally catch me, so I was like, I can't really get away much longer. So I stopped to get some shots, and at that point, he did send over a T-Rex as well, so the Feral Carnosaur is going to be able to catch me. I think Feral Carnosaurs have like 78 speed or something like that, 75, so yeah, it's going to be pretty close. Yeah, they can catch those guys for sure. Now, Arcing the Black is probably going to kill Mazdamundi. The bounce power pretty heavily in my opponent's favor at this point, but just trying to claw my way back, getting on Mazdamundi. 699, we're getting in there, we're doing some damage. He is so damn low. The Chosen of the Gods here just unleashing their last volleys, and Mazdamundi finally breaks. He does get an Apotheosis off as he breaks, but from here, I should be able to chase him off the battlefield, so you can see Arcing the Black is going to be chasing Mazdamundi, but his Royal Thickness is certainly in good company. He does have Feral Carnosaurs, he has Crocsgores. Croak can assume leadership. I mean, Croak is, the OG Slan anyways, but we do kill Mazdamundi, which is quite nice. Arcing the Black, though, is going to be disintegrating due to army losses, and that is going to be all she wrote. So well played to my opponent. I think my build was grossly unprepared for what he brought. I didn't have enough mass to stop that many dinosaurs and just heavy metal. Because, you know, back in the day when Tomb Kings first came out, a lot of players brought, you know, just would spam like double Necrosphinx and just go huge anti-armor against dinosaurs. So the metagame, from what I understood, started to shift a little bit. So I was like, okay, maybe I can bring some Ushabti Great Bows and mix in a Casket of Souls to deal with like Temple Guard and infantry-centric builds and, you know, that kind of thing. But man, it really just did not pay off. And my stuff just got nuked. And Car Horseman got pounded. I think even if I had played that a little bit better, because arguably, I mean, not arguably, for sure, I didn't play it the best. My Nedakar Horsemen, I let them get caught there. Croak got 300 kills, but he just mulched all my infantry and all my spears, so I had no, like, anti-large support. I had nothing to protect the Ushabti. Now, like, pre-Croak, maybe a build like this could have worked because the spears would have lasted longer to fight the Feral Carnosaurs who were rampaging. They would have about time for them to shoot, essentially. But I just think it was a bit of a subpar build, for sure. And we'll go over something that is a little bit more tried and true and, you know, will definitely work against a build like this. But I got to say, my opponent's build, it really caught me off guard. I was expecting Swords and Temple Guard. That's why I brought the Casket and Chariots and things like that. But he brought something very unorthodox, and it was really scary. And honestly, this is somewhat similar to a build that you see against the Vampire Counts. So against Vampire Counts, he would cut the Croxagores and just get Temple Guard and cut the Colossadon Riders. And I feel like the hardest matchup in the game for Vampire Counts right now is actually Lizardmen. It is so incredibly tough to beat a good Lizardman player with the Vampire Counts. But let me know your experiences in the comments below. So again, well played to my opponent, Nefarium. He played a very tight game. His casts were awesome. His target priority was really good. And yeah, it was just really fun. So on that note, guys, we're going to jump over and look at some builds that are a little bit more functional and probably be a bit safer, especially against like Croak and things like that. So custom battles, we're going to go in and look at the Tomb Kings, the Kings of the Tomb Kings. So Ark in the Black is pretty good. You can go with Cetra too. He's a pretty good duelist, and with some of his items, he can really kick out some pain. So we'll actually try him for now. I mean, Spirit Leech is good. Fade Boon is pretty good against Temple Guard and things like that, but the Blessed Blade gives you fire damage. I mean, it's pretty good against some of those dudes over there. So you can put him on the War Sphinx as well, but I think having him on horseback is fine for now, and you can mix in a Tomb Prince. I think it's pretty essential to get Guardian. Now this on its own is already exponentially better than what I brought. It gives you a ton of anti-large, plenty of options to deal with Feral Carnosaurs. A Tomb Prince plus Cetra, like fighting a Feral Carnosaur with some buffs from Lord of Nedakar, are going to be able to make pretty quick work of it. So that's already going to be pretty good. For the front line, honestly, you can go with Tomb Guards with Halberds, like a combination of those, and just mix in some like Skeleton Spears. Have them a little bit more spread out. Having the AP there is going to be very useful. Now, on top of that, you can go with a Wild Necrosphinx if you want to. Colossadon Hunters can do some damage, but again, if you're supporting with other troops, I think we're going to be okay. So get the Necrosphinx here, and you can't even get like a Ushabti Great Bow, because now we have the assets to kind of defend it, right? So we can get one of those in the back line, and from there, I really do like having some mobility. And the biggest issue with this build is going to be dealing with like Temple Guard-centric builds, but you have good AP with the Tomb Guards with Halberds. You have Ushabti Great Bows, so you can kind of pick those guys apart, but yeah, let's see. The Sphinx is pretty expensive. Tomb Guard, I like this front line. I think it's going to be pretty good. I really do like having some horsemen just to kind of cycle charge and pressure and things like that. The Carrion were really, really good. If they go with any sort of an Air Force, the Carrion are going to be just super disruptive, and I just think having some battlefield control like that is always going to be pretty nice. So, Catapults, Casket of Souls, I wouldn't recommend that. We do have the Ushabti Great Bow. No, we actually cut it from this particular build, so I'm trying to think of like stuff. Croak isn't going to be able to do much against these type of threats. He will be able to kill your infantry, so you need to have some answers to kill the infantry still. I do like Nedakar Horsemen. I think having a couple groups of those is going to be solid. Of course, you just got to micro them better than I did in that last game. And from here, we probably could cut something. I'm trying to think. I Will Be Done is pretty good. Wrath of Petra is okay. I mean, it helps him escape. Curse is good. Tomb Strike's pretty good. Not too many abilities I want to cut there. That's for sure. So we could actually cut these Skeleton Spears and just get like standard skeletons just to cut a little bit of cash and let us get some goodies here. It's still not enough though. I really do want to get like a Tomb Scorpion or something. I feel like having that kind of in the mix would be helpful. Plus, it gives you more single entity gooning. Tomb Scorpions are going to be pretty strong at just like going after things. So we could cut you, probably get some like just standard Skeleton Horsemen, and then from there we could just like Chevron up these guys. So a build like this I think would be a little bit safer. If you want to mix in Ushabti Great Bows, you could just cut these guys and just get like some, cut this and then, cut the Skeleton Horsemen, just get some more, cheap spears or something. This would be a good build as well. I think it'd be much safer. You have plenty of AP to deal with the large threats. You could kill Feral Carnosaurs, you could kill Jabba the Hutt, you could take down Lord Croak very quickly. I think it's just a safer build. But again, well played to my opponent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that showdown, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.